Hello, hello. Hello. Hi, Maggie. How are you?
Oh, good. I'm just trying to test my backdrop. Can I see myself here?
Um, able to.
I got side by side up.
Do you want to make it full screen? I can
Hi,
just
Maggie. How are you?
Oh, good. I'm just trying to test my backdrop. Can I see myself here? Wow, what is happening? Why is there this delay?
There we go. Here, you should be able to see yourself full screen now.
I just don't know where to sit in my house. It's not going to be. I have two dogs. You know what I mean? So let me move somewhere else. I'm actually in where I shoot, right? This is where I shoot my stuff. So, but I don't have a good background. Go against this hockey background there. Nobody will know that's what it is. Not my hockey background. But the house came with the hockey background, as you can imagine. Well, maybe not. I mean, everybody's hockey fans, really, but I'm not like a hockey fan where I would actually put a picture of hockey shit on my wall. What do you got? Half a pinball machine and the hockey guy?
Yeah, I think it's good. It looks fun. Looks entertaining.
I gotta get the chair though.
Big colors.
I gotta get a chair that height. Hold on. This is why I'm early, right? Can I see me full screen or not?
Yep. I would move it up a little bit so your head's a bit more in center. Your hair's cutting off a little bit at the top, but you're almost
So
right.
shitty, though.
You can put just like a book under the computer or the laptop. That would prop it up a little bit more, and it's perfect. Camera case, maybe it's gonna be too high though. How high do you want me to go, you think? What's your suggestion for a height increase? 3 inches, 4 inches? I think like just 2 would be good. Yeah, you were almost there, just a little prop.
I haven't done anything.
Oh, I would say yeah, just like one or two books, just a couple of inches, just to prop it up.
I don't think I can use this computer actually, because I can't. I have a blown speaker, so I just realized I better change computers. Really hard for me to hear. That you don't have any issues.
You sound perfect. It sounds. I really like that backdrop. It's great.
Okay. What am I seeing here? That's just the wall, right?
Yeah. You see a little bit of the baseboard, but that's fine. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah.
Now I gotta get rid of my camera case. Pinball machine. That's not too busy. That's okay. Okay, so can I want to see if I can also, so can I just do a little test here?
Yes.
Okay, hi, I'm Maggie Casella, and I'd like to welcome you to the bonus round of Margaret's MAM fundraiser, the Fireside Chat. Of course, it's June, so there's no fire, but there will be chat. If you're here, you've gone the extra mile in supporting Margaret's by buying a VIP ticket, and for that, we are very grateful. But before we get started, a bit of housekeeping. The chat goes for 20 minutes, and we will be opening the lines for questions from the audience at 8:05. Questions can be sent by going to the chat box embedded in the webinar. Donations will be accepted throughout the evening by going to the Margaret's website at www.margarets.ca. Okay, let's get to it. I'm here tonight with the Margaret Trudeau Mental Health Advocacy Award winner, Emmy-winning actor, writer, filmmaker, and all-around nice human, Joanne Vannicola. Hey, Joe. And the amazing, inspiring, Academy Award nominated, supremely talented activist, author, and beautiful spirit, Shorey Agdashlu. Hi, Shorey. Okay, let's get to chatting, you two. So I'd like to start by talking a bit about memoirs. You've both written memoirs and recently read each other's memoirs, right? I think it's kind of interesting that you two have very similar kinds of writing styles in the memoir, but your stories are very, very different. So what do you think that says about what you do, and what do you think that's about? I'm gonna start with you, Joe. Okay, so that's good. Is that all right?
Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah, so you don't have any problems with Mike or anything like that?
No, it sounds good. It's coming in very clear, so that's great.
Okay.
Just wanted to double check if I'm not sure if Cameron sent you the update. We're gonna have our executive director of Margaret's, Diane Walter, coming in at the end to thank.
You guys tell me that one more time. I seriously am gonna lose my shit. Okay. Seriously.
So,
I get it. So what else do you want me to do?
No. What I was gonna ask is just to double check that you knew just before we kick off. And the question was for Shorey. So once we wrap up the reading, I just wanted to know if there's how the reading will wrap up, just so Maggie and I are cued, just to know that we're gonna switch it over to Maggie because I gotta send you the camera request, Maggie.
I'm sorry. I didn't know Shorey was here. Hi, Shorey. So I was like, why are you telling me again? Do I look stupid? Like, I was just like, I was starting to feel bad about me.
You look amazing, and I was listening to you. Fantastic. I just loved your introduction and your enthusiasm. And oh my God, I felt like I want to donate now.
Oh, well, thank you. I might have done this a few times. I'm just saying, just a few.
Well, it was just out of this world. One of the best. No one can talk.
It's ridiculous coming from you. You're going to make me like lose my mind. So stop saying nice things about me now before I like melt into a puddle. I'm going to melt into a puddle.
You look gorgeous. I love that.
Thank you. I haven't had a haircut since Sonny broke up with Cher, but you're very nice.
Ram, I believe I would read the same passage that I read in my social media. And at the end, I can say, it ends with, I wasn't comparing, and if it was rare, then I was rare, but just as real.
Okay, just as real. Got it. I'm going to get an earpiece because I cannot hear.
Okay. Sure. Just after once you're done, just hold after the reading. Once you see Maggie pop on screen, I'll close off your camera. So it might just take a few seconds to make the switch. So just hold on tight.
Good. Okay. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. I'm very excited that we're finally here.
Yes, finally.
We got a lot of last minute ticket sales, and I'm sure that was lots of them from your support with your posts.
God, thank God. Nice. Nice to hear.
I think this is hilarious. I just need an old-fashioned headset that plugs in. that doesn't have a microphone on it.
Don't you have a black one?
I just don't know. I just need one with no microphone, you know?
Oh, I see what you mean.
Because this particular computer has a blown speaker, so it's difficult for me to hear anybody because everybody sounds like, which is why I probably misheard the instruction again to throw to Diane, which I was sorry that I got a bit snarky. I didn't mean to. I wasn't really meaning snarky. I was just like, oh, they think I'm stupid. Hold on. And this is all recording, so, you know, that's always fun. Okay, so here's the thing.
Nice.
Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Here, yes.
But the question is, can you hear me as well?
Because
Because I don't really want to wear both headsets. I just want to wear
You don't need
something.
both. Just one.
Well, but this one has a microphone on it, so I'm concerned that I bypassed my microphone on the computer, which is perfectly good.
Oh.
Can you, I kept these, right? Because,
What's the black one? There's a black one.
yeah, the black one is right. I think you're right. The black one would have no,
Yeah.
it has a mouthpiece on it. Shoot.
Yes.
Wait, but this one I think is for running. So this one's older than I am. No, also has a mouthpiece.
Oh, you're interested in mouthpieces. Okay.
I don't want one, right? You're hilarious. Hello. I set you up for that.
Okay. Okay. I didn't
hold
say
on.
anything.
I know. There was an intimation there. I felt it.
Of course.
Let's see about this one. Let's see about this one. Oh my God, really? This is why I came early. So I only have like 3 questions, Shorey. So like, you guys just chitty chat all you want, right? Don't think I'm gonna come in with another question, because I would only come in with an organic question to like, send you in a direction. I'm not gonna come in with a preset questions. It's, the memoir one, so a mental health question, and then I mean, if I even need another question, Joanne and I wrote a 3rd one, but I assume you guys are going to be fine. And then I'll give you the reading, you'll do the reading, and then we'll go to questions, and then from the audience, and then we will. Oh, there you guys are. I'm just talking away like an arse.
Maggie, she's here. She's with us now.
Hold on.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. I love that. Finally.
What? My clothing?
Very chic.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm not wearing anything. I'm not wearing anything below my waist, just for the record.
It's gorgeous. I love
Thank
I
it.
you.
am literally in my underpants. Anybody else?
Yes.
No, I have some jeans on, some really bad.
She's wearing like
Yay, Shorey!
My pajamas.
I wanted to get the admission that, okay, I'm lying a little bit. I'm wearing sweatpants.
I'm just wearing ripped jeans.
Wow, don't you love that? I love
Listen.
the jacket.
Thank you. Actually, this is from Joanne Hansen.
The jacket, gorgeous.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, she gave it to me. Was a slip present, under the rug present. Don't tell anybody.
You know what? We're recording. So when you're saying that you're stealing from a set, you just might want to
steal. It was a gift.
No, she
Sorry,
gave
it was a gift from a set.
It was literally a gift. Hi, Diane. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Joanne?
You know Diane, everyone?
No, I don't think anyone knows.
Diane Walter is the executive director.
I know that because I have been told 16 times that she's the executive director of Margaret, and I'm going to throw to her at the end of this.
Is it only 16, Maggie? I directed them to tell you at least 26 times.
Well, you know what? You better start taking some names and kicking some ass, my friend, because they told me 16 times.
Well, you know what? I actually thought you would do it because I hear you're a badass.
I'm a badass. I appreciate you very much. I just want you to know I appreciate you and your work very much, and thank you for doing it.
Thank you.
I just also wanted to officially introduce you to Shorey Agdashlu, amazing friend, actor, comrade, and activist, and Maggie Casella, obviously, comedian, good friend, and broster, and all of them they both gave their time when I asked and without question. So just grateful to you all, and thank you, Diane.
Well, I thank you both. And when this is over, Joanna, we got to go out and, pop a cork, something.
Yes, we'll do that. Let's do that for sure. And we'll just go with our jeans and t-shirts and.
Well, I'm working.
No.
Okay. Right on, Diane. I started to watch the event, but then I had to stop because I had to come.
Yes,
here.
I know. And I thought Rom would be here. He said he wanted to test.
Yeah, Diane, I'm here. I'm just off camera. So I'm doing.
Oh, you're incognito, eh? Huh.
Today. You guys are the star today, so I won't go on camera.
Okay.
But yeah, we did a little bit of sound check with Maggie, especially just earlier. But I'm hearing you all in video. Everything looks excellent.
Okay.
I did. I'm not sure if Maggie can hear us. She just had a set.
Stepped off.
But Natalie's here as support, so she'll be receiving some Q&As from the public. We'll feed them off to Maggie. I'll just prompt her to keep her chat open when we begin. But yeah, I think we're all set. Dana, just touch base with Maggie. So Maggie will thank Shore for doing the reading. Then she'll introduce you. So just wait for my invitation to start your video and your audio, and then you'll see yourself on the screen, and then you can start speaking.
Okay, great.
And then after that, we'll just close it off from there.
You can hear Maggie in the background, correct? How are you today, Shore?
Doing great.
She's great. She looks great.
I'm off. I'm not working today.
You're not working today. Well, you are sort of. You're here. sort of.
This is my work. It's pure pleasure.
Yeah. That's
an honor to be able to help.
Yeah.
To be able to take a step.
Thank you.
For those who need it.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable that there are still good people on the face of the earth.
Absolutely. Just me and you, sure. Just me and you.
Hey, forgot about me already. Oh, that's some funny here.
Yeah.
Oh, help.
Leave it. Why are you doing that?
Okay.
Looks great.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't had a haircut since Sonny broke up with Cher. Just stop talking about your hair.
Was it he that broke up with her, or was it she who broke up with him?
You know what? Very few people don't let me get away with that little cliche joke. And the ones who do let me know that they're paying attention. So thank you.
See?
Very much dumped him. You are correct.
And the
second person in the last 15 years who's ever even noticed that's correct. So thank you. Thank you for paying attention.
He started it first when he started cheating on her.
Yeah, but she did dump him eventually for, I think, the Allman Brother, right?
Yeah, one of them. Or was it both?
No, I think it was one.
One?
Yeah, because I think one of them crashed into a peach truck, didn't he?
Well, so he crashed into a tree.
No,
Sorry.
yeah, I know. I mean, everybody she comes into contact with has some, has some accident. No, the other one, that's why they had that record, Eat a Peach, because one of the Allman Brothers died crashing into a peach truck.
Oh, I did really? That I
Yes.
didn't know.
A little bit
Okay.
of stupid
facts.
I'm full of dumb stuff.
That might get me a job.
Yeah, right. You know what? You'd be surprised what you can pull out of the air sometimes in a pitch or whatever, and everyone goes, you know what? I hated what she said, but I love that she knew that Cher broke up with Sonny. You know, I mean, all very good information. Okay, my slouchy Joanne, is my jacket weird? I can't see me, so.
There's a lot of busyness going on, and
yeah, well, we cleared this because otherwise I'm against a black wall, so like a brown wall, like a poop brown wall. Like why they painted these walls poop brown is beyond me. So I'm in front of a pinball machine and a hockey thing. Like I would have a hockey thing on my wall, right? So folks, I just moved. I moved in November into a house that we cannot possibly decorate because it's out of our league. So it just is still has the hockey thing on the wall.
Well, it's a nice backdrop.
Yeah, Joanne's saying it's busy because I got a pinball machine over here.
Oh, I kind of like it, Joanne.
it's good though because we all have a very different thing going on. I can't even tell what my background is. It's a little bit of nothing.
I'm in my basement.
I'm in my basement too. Yeah.
Oh, well, you have a fancy basement.
We had to get rid of the rest, get away from the rest of the family, right? Am I right?
Yeah. I hope that my cat doesn't take everything down around me. That's my big goal.
Well, that's why I'm down here, because I have two giant dogs who are like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Can I kiss you now? What are you doing? Hi, hi, hi. I have so many outtakes from the Rainbow Railroad fundraiser I did where I'm in front of the fire. It was a gospel brunch. I'm in front of the fire. Fire's roaring, and I'm like, and we all know how important Rainbow Railroad's work is in saving LGBTQ lives around the, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? The dog comes in, kisses me in the face, looks at the camera. I'm like, fuck, come on.
Yeah. I know that thing. I'm not locking the cat into the crate because it might get crazy if I do that, like with a lot of cat pawing and crying. And I thought, I'll just leave it and see what happens. So,
Dude, it'll be great if the cat attacks you in the middle of this. It's like, it's
why not?
it's a bonus thing for the bonus people.
Okay.
Everybody loves a good animal mishap.
It's all good. I'm going with it. It's all good. It's all good. Do we need to go over anything, or are we just going to yak away?
Hey, Diane,
Yes.
your last name is Walter, not Walters, right?
No S, darling. No
Yeah,
S.
good. I have it as Walter, and then I just thought, did I? Actually, I have it as Walter over here, just Walter. Good night, the executive director of Margaret's, Walter. Here's Walter.
That's fine. That's good for me. That's good enough. Nothing more.
An
needs to be
unfortunate
said.
first name for a guy, though, I think. Don't you think?
Walter?
What?
Oh.
Why?
Walter?
Walter?
Yeah.
Walter?
It's because I went to school with a guy named Walter Knudsen, and
That's a bad name entirely.
Yeah. The combination is bad.
he was a very tall, geeky guy, Walter Knudsen. But his family owned the Knudsen Dairy, and that was a big deal. So,
Oh.
Can I just tell you, Diane, that Maggie pointed out that Diane gave me that statue yesterday for the thing in front of a park, the award. And there's a guy in the background in his underpants.
that's what I said. I said, you guys couldn't go into the park a little further? Is that guy in his underpants?
Oh, really?
Look, I'm all for underpants. Like, just underpants is the best way to go about life, in my opinion. You just want to keep stuff away from the down there area, but you really don't want to restrict the rest of your body. So I'm all for the guy out in the middle of the street in underpants. But you're presenting her this award, and I'm like, Joanne, there's a person in their underpants in the background.
Oh,
I'm just saying, I'm observant. I don't know what to.
So funny.
Oh my God.
So do we do anything?
Oh
Ron,
my
are we to do anything?
No, I think we're all set. So, Maggie, just a reminder, or actually, I guess an introduction of Natalie here, who is going to be a support for the evening. She's just she's going to be feeding some Q&A questions from the public. So she's got them coming in from the website. So just remember to keep your chat open. So you can just scan the questions that Natalie will be sending you, and yeah, you can just throw them into the group as you see fit.
Do you want me to test? I'm going to test, Maggie,
Yes,
and
please.
send you a note.
Test. I should read it like that, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
you got it.
Natalie Ho to me, direct message test.
Oh, I can't see it, so I'll just close my chat. Should I just close
You know
my
what? I thought Maggie was going to make it Natalie.
Yes, Joanne.
Natalie.
Oh no, I would never do that. I don't go for the. Although I have to say, Diane, I moved from the city to a postal code that is, wait for it, K0K1HO. So my postal code, Queen of the Lesbians, is Cock I Ho or Cock One Ho. I mean, so every time people like postal code, I'm like, why? Please don't make me say it.
Are you in Ottawa? Is that an Ottawa?
No, I'm in Brighton, Ontario, which is Northumberland County.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about like an hour and a half east, right, Max?
It is 1 hour and 5 minutes from my house my old house in the Bluffs, and 1 hour and 30 minutes from downtown. So it doesn't feel like very far to me, and it feels like very nice.
Well, you need a postal code like that if you live out there.
Right.
Of course, I have to be a Cock One Ho if I'm living in. I have had a cow mooing for the last 24 hours, which is distressing because, they moo on occasion to call each other or to call their kids. But if it's mooing for 24 hours, something's wrong. So I'm wondering if it just
Pregnant
gave,
cow. Maybe it's a birthing animal.
I think it might have been giving birth. Yeah, yeah. Or, you know, because it was, yes, all day, all night. Right? You can hear it. It's like,
Right. So I'm just gonna jump in. So we're coming up to 7:30. The main event will be any minute now. So we'll close off the cameras now. I'm just gonna put a placeholder slide, and then we'll just wait for people to start trickling into the page. Again, just wait for my prompt to start your camera and your audio. It might just take a couple of seconds. But other than that, if you have any questions, we're still here on the chat, so you can message either myself or Natalie.
but we can't talk to each other now. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes. I'll mute everybody.
Bye,
The camera's
guys.
off until it's your turn to be on camera.
Bye.
Right.
Do we turn
Good
off
luck,
the
have
camera
fun.
and the
Oh, he's
sound?
gonna do. I think he's
Yes,
gonna
I will do that.
Oh,
I'll
he's
do that
gonna
for
do it.
everybody. Yes, I'll
Yeah,
control
bye,
that. You just need to
everybody.
accept
Bye. I miss you
the
already.
request.
I miss
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Bye. Bye. Thanks. What? Cam? No. What? Yes.
Rom.
Rom. Yeah. Cam is the other guy.
Yes.
Cameron. I'm the last one. Oh, there. No.
Oh,
Shut
no,
up, Maggie.
all right.
There,
Ah.
there.
I'm gonna play with my hair while.
Hi there, I'm Maggie Casella, and I'd like to welcome you to the bonus round of Margaret's MAM fundraiser, the Fireside Chat. Of course, it's June, so there's no fire, but there will be chat. If you're here, you've gone the extra mile in supporting Margaret's by buying a VIP ticket, and for that, we are very grateful. Thank you so much. Just before we get started, a bit of housekeeping. Of course, the chat goes for 20 minutes, and we'll be opening the lines for questions from the audience at 8:05. Questions can be sent by going to the chat box embedded in the webinar, and donations, of course, will be accepted throughout the evening by going to Margaret's website at www.margarets.ca. Okay, let's get to it. I'm here tonight with the Margaret Trudeau Mental Health Advocacy, Advocacy Award winner, Emmy-winning actor, writer, filmmaker, and all-around nice human, my friend and broster, a word we made up, Joanne Vannicola. Hey, Joe. And the amazing, inspiring, Academy Award nominated, supremely talented activist, actor, and beautiful spirit, Shohreh Aghdashloo. Hi, Shohreh. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, it's just a little slow on the coming in.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you guys were all here, right? And you're hearing me?
Yeah.
All right. Let's chat.
Yes.
All right. Here we go. So I'm going to just lob out a general observation that I've made by talking a bit about memoirs. You guys both wrote memoirs. And recently, I'm told you read each other's memoirs. And I think it's really kind of interesting that you have almost similar styles in the writing of your memoirs, but very different stories. So what do you think that says about you guys, and what do you think that says about your stories, and what do you think that's about in general?
Shohreh, do you want to start?
Well, Maggie, yes, by all means, Maggie, you're absolutely right. I noticed that when I started reading Joanne's memoir. I noticed that it's the same style, and it told me that we're both fans of Gabriel Garcia Marquez, traveling in time, going back and forth, because there are times that you really can't start from the very beginning. You need to let people know how things are today and when they started. Therefore, you need to travel back and forth. When I met with Joanne, Maggie, I knew she was different. I cannot utter the words as to say why I felt that she was different, but she stood out amongst all the actors. We started doing a table read with each other first for a movie we were doing together. And
for people who don't know what a table read is, Shohreh, will you explain what a table read is?
By all means, table read means that we get to read our scene before we go and act it out.
So you're all sitting together.
We're all sitting together around the table, reading it out loud, and just for the sake of each other, to get to know the words and how to react or act or react. And she was sitting opposite me on the other side of the table. I was looking at her thinking, what is it about this person that makes me that keeps attracting me? There are others, but this one keeps attracting me. I want to look at her, and there's a lot of experience in her face. Although she looks very young, but so much experience, lines on her face that tells me stories, not just one or two, but tons of them. And when I started working with her, with Joanne, obviously an amazing actress, those real actors who know what interacting means, not necessarily dashing in and acting out. She was an interactive actor, and then I'm thinking, my God, I need to get to know this person because she's fascinating. And then we talked about our memoirs, and we exchanged our memoirs. And when I started reading her memoirs, it blew me away.
Me too.
I could have not believed that one person, so fragile as she is, can go through all of these unbelievable stuff during her life and still managed to remain a good person with good intention for humanity. Because reading Joanne's book was like a journey under the skin of humanity, and learning stuff that I didn't know, and therefore never asked as to how come that such thing takes place or happens, and then I noticed that I was right. She is different, and the one thing, Joanne, that was running through my mind when I was reading your memoir was, what was it that took you through all this? Was it religion? Was it love? Was it an imaginary friend? Was it asking for the hammer of justice? Was it, what did take you through this journey, this tumultuous, this painful journey, and never allowed you to change and let you stay the human being you are today, now, and everyone wants to be your friend? What took you through?
So Joe, before you answer that, if I might, just so the people viewing, if they haven't read your memoir, now, first of all, Shorey, you're right. They look very young, but they're actually 100. So Joe is 105 years old. But I knew Joe for a really long time. So when they came up to me and said, will you read my memoir? And I was like, who are you to write a memoir? You're my pal. You're this person, not knowing their history. It was quite incredible. I felt the same way you did. So for people who haven't read Joe's memoir, it's called All We Knew But Couldn't Say. All I Knew But Couldn't Say, sorry. Or is it we?
All we knew.
All We Knew But Couldn't Say. And it
She froze, didn't she?
filled with
Freezing. That's okay. I'll answer your question now. Maggie, you froze on us. You'll come back. Okay, so Shorey. First of all, I want people to know about your memoir as well. This is Shorey's memoir. It's The Alley of Love and Yellow Jasmines. And I will answer your question because I feel like the same question could be asked of you. Different life experience, but I will let the audience know that Shorey escaped Iran as a young woman, barely a girl, barely out of being a girl, just a young adult, in order to live a safe life and fulfill a dream that had to do with being an actor, as well as dealing with the oppressive regime that was on the horizon and had been on the horizon for many years in Iran, and the rights of girls and women were being taken away. Hi again, Maggie.
sorry about that.
And Shorey, your journey out of Iran into North America, and all that happened in the preceding years of your being here, and all you lost as a result of having to leave your country and not being able to go back and to be in exile, and the fact that if you were to go back, you would face danger. Like, all of those elements are just heart-wrenching. But also the same goes for you. Like, somehow you managed to keep yourself intact and your spirit full. And I think in some ways, to answer the question, that's what I did. I protected a very core part of myself that my parents could not hurt, and the culture people invested in oppressing me, whether it was about being a girl, or whether it was then about becoming lesbian and queer and non-binary, and or even the industry where we deal with misogyny and oppression all the time in the work that we do. All of those things were very, very difficult, but yet still that core self, that piece that I protected, I call my soul, my spirit, my self, my higher self. I don't mean that in a religious way. I mean that in a very intimate way, a personal way. They could not destroy that part. And that's the part that grew and grew and grew and grew over many, many years. I was very fragile as a young person and very fragile as a young adult. And it took all of those years up until my 40s, really, to kind of come to terms with my history and my past, all while through those years being an activist and an advocate at the same time. So I feel like protecting myself as a young person, my work as an artist, as well as my activism and advocacy, were all important components to living a full life and realizing who I was and continuing to grow and get healthier and hopefully wiser. A little slow on that, but I'm getting there. A little arrested development, but that's okay. And also, to guide me into the future so that, I continue to do the advocacy and continue to write scripts and books and stories and act in pieces that hopefully will inspire other people and tell stories that rarely get told. So that's, all of those things are really important to me. And I don't know, sometimes you don't know how you get by when you're very little and you're in the moment, you're being hurt.
That's why I was so interested to know, because I was in my 20s when I started my journey, but you were 5, 6, 7 years old. And that's why when I was reading it, I was thinking, what took her through? There must have been something in her, like a wise child, or a child that understands what's going on and tries to save herself at the same time, find a way to get away from all this in the best way possible. Because even when I was reading your memoir, there were times like, oh my God, I feel like if I were her, I would have been thinking of getting rid of myself or
but I think that's part of, if we think about the occasion, when we think about mental health and how we survive traumatic events, and how we process that stuff and how we heal from those things. I needed a lot of help, and I did get the help that I needed. And I do think that depression, and this is something I talked to Maggie about as well, that depression and mental health issues and struggles that we have, whether it's addiction or whatever the issues are, those are almost natural responses to trauma. Because if you're connected to your experience and it hurt, then you're going to feel things. And a lot of times, that's why I think we have a lot of hurt people, because I think there are a lot of traumatized people in the world, and we don't really talk about that enough, whether it's Black people or Indigenous people or women like yourself who escaped places like Iran, or young people like me who grew up in violence and abuse, and whatever those issues are, it's natural to have responses and reactions to those things. And how do we heal from that? And then how do we make the world a better place? That's my passion, right?
And I think to that point, Joe, when people protect themselves in different ways, and in a weird way, sometimes, where we go mentally is a way of protecting ourselves. I don't know, Shorey, how you got through it. So, I mean, maybe you could talk a little bit about your experience and that. And then, yeah, Joe, back to your point. Yeah, all of those things, depression, addiction, all of them are a way of getting through it. They may not be the best way for us, but they are a way. So I think, I'm not a mental health person, that was our discussion. So Shorey, how did you get through it?
Maggie, I started having depression a year after I left Iran. I drove out. It was a hard journey for me. So I had to literally drive from Tehran to London to get myself educated and to start doing something that is, profitable to the humanity and myself, and do not waste my time back in a turmoil situation in my birth country. But I started having depression, but then I asked around, and I didn't have a good financial situation to see a doctor. They were very expensive, £300 per hour.
Jesus.
So I asked around, and a friend of mine told me that she had experienced the same feelings, and all she was told was that try to talk to yourself, try to understand why you're depressed, try to understand your situation, analyze your situation. And I started doing that, but then I started having panic attacks, which back then, 35 years ago, nobody knew what panic attack was, at least in London. When I moved to Los Angeles, I started going to UCLA hospital, and they kept telling me that I had a very rare disease that attacks me every now and then, but it's not really not for real. It's all in my mind. Finally, I paid that $300 because I had to. And the doctor was amazing. He told me that it's because of the fact that unconsciously, I feel like I'm alone and I feel vulnerable. And every time I get the panic attack, it's because of the fact that I see something that reminds me of my past, where I was living happily ever after with my parents, or when I was living back in Iran. And he was right. The first time I got my panic attack, I was invited to a lunch party at a producer's place. We were in the backyard, and a German Shepherd was going around wagging his tail. And obviously, that German Shepherd reminded me of my own. His name was Pasha, back in Iran, when I was experiencing a serene and quiet life, and everything was perfect. Perfect picture, sort of. That's why. And he said, anytime you get a panic attack, just try to find what took you there, what took you back, and then remind yourself of the fact that it is not physical. Because every time it attacked, I felt like I'm dying, I'm dying. I should have written a will. I'm dying, I'm dying. But remember, you're not dying. It's all in here, nothing physical. So, and get a brown bag and start breathing in and out the brown bag, like that. And I still get it once in a while. But when you know what's happening to you, awareness takes you like 50% of the way through. And then obviously, if you're a grown up and if you understand, the core, if you can find the cause, then you should be able to get rid of it, to do something for it. But thank God for the places like UCLA Hospital or Mad About Margaret's. Thank God for these places, because there are really people who cannot afford, like when the situation I was at 35 years ago, to go and seek help. Thank God for these places. Still, in Iran, in my birth country, having a mental health problem is embarrassing. People don't talk about it. If someone is having a problem, they would say, they would just put an end to the person. Oh, the person is crazy. Yeah, it's gone crazy. No help, no talk, no sort of tribal, because for every other thing, 6 heads talk for one. Yes, let's go buy this land. But when it comes to mental health problems or diseases, no one wants to talk about it. It's a shame.
I think that's true in a multitude of places, including here. And you're exactly right. It's why places like Margaret's, where people can get, help without having to come up with the $300, is so expensive. I do see the weird poetic whatever in learning about panic attacks in LA, of course, the land that probably causes more of them for people who shouldn't have them than any other place in the world, because of the industry that we're in, is what I'm talking about, of course. And if I could just talk a little bit about that, because I think people would be interested to know how the industry we're in and how it treats women. And we've all learned through the Me Too movement of what's gone on, and how it affects women's mental health to be in this industry. Certainly as a woman, as a non-binary person, as a queer person. You guys, do you have any interesting stories or things to say about that? I don't know, Joe, would you want to start?
Always a story to say about that.
Of course, right?
Only half the night, not too long. I think the truth is that you learn from a very young age, and I was a child actor, so I knew from my girlhood that sexism and misogyny and sexual violence was a real thing in the culture and in the industry. And I was dealing with that as a child and a teenager when I barely knew myself, and I was absorbing all those horrible, nasty messages from mostly men in the industry about how to present, how to be a girl, what's expected of you. If you were a tomboy or queer, you're non-binary or, trans or whatever the issues are, you didn't even exist. You weren't even on the page. You weren't even allowed to exist. So it took enormous courage, I think, for not just myself, but I think anybody who's queer or non-binary or trans and female and a girl, to sort of deal with the oppressive sort of misogynistic situation that we all deal with in the film industry. So there are many stories about that journey that I think we all share probably in common. And yeah.
But we don't, I think we also don't talk to each other enough about. So, which I think is interesting, right? Which is why the whole Me Too thing, like really, I mean, there are some actors, and I don't want to say their names, but I know people who work in Me Too who are so traumatized and suffering to the point where, you know, the hands of Harvey, whatever, you know, that it's just, it's beyond like the kind of psychic and emotional and mental damage that people like that do. Now, I do have a question for you, Joanne. Someone's written it. I loved your book. You survived and thrived. How do you channel your anger or your emotions about the past?
How do I channel my anger?
Yes, or emotions about the past.
You know, I think it's through my art and through my advocacy. I feel like I can't do anything about the past. I can't change it.
Are you, let me just ask, are you, I mean, we're friends, we're close friends. I don't see you as an angry person.
No, I mean, I get angry, certainly, when things are happening in the culture. They happen every day. I was angry about Trump. I'm angry about, you know, white people with guns trying to kill black people. I'm angry about Indigenous children being slaughtered. I'm angry about women and girls being violated all the time. I mean, it's a lot to be angry about. But what do you do with that emotion? And I think that's the question, right? How do we deal with that anger? And to me, I deal with it by writing, by showing up in protests. And if I can't go to a protest, you know, how do I support other people in their journey? What can I learn? How can I be part of an action? You know, what committees can I start? I mean, there's constantly something, and I feel like that's my part of my purpose. Without my advocacy, without, you know, nonprofit work that I've done and all the things that matter to me, I don't know that I would have managed to survive everything and or even deal with things as they are every day today in the culture, because things are very complex and difficult. And I think, again, we don't talk about these things. We don't talk about even anger. We don't talk about, you know, memories and trauma and how we process that and how we get from a place of depression and anger or rage to action, hope, and inspiration. And
I talk about it all the time. No, look, I'm rageful.
You know, they go together in a way, and you just have to find a way, right?
And you know what, Joanne, Joe, we're Italian, so yeah. we're pretty good at actually.
We're good at it.
We're good at it. We're good at it. I got a light question, which I very much appreciate to both of you. Cat or dog person? Shorey, we'll start with you, because are you a cat or a dog person, or both?
I've had both of them, but I started with cats.
So cats are your preference. Joe, I know you have that animal that's waiting to just jump on your face right now, and that is?
Yes, I do. I have a cat right now that I adore, who's a little bit cranky and funky and silly because he's a kitten still. He's almost one, but he's still a kitten. But I love both. I love cats, dogs. I love all animals, to be honest. I don't think there's an animal I don't love, really.
Yeah.
I think turtles have an attitude, but that's just me.
Well, they're slow sometimes, really.
Maggie, you have two.
I have two giant dogs. I have two giant Weimaraners, yes, and they are goofballs. And I mean, you know, they sleep on the bed. What can I say? Question for you both again. What do you think the biggest challenges are facing women today? Shorey, you want to start?
By all means, absolutely. The biggest challenge is to get together, stand by each other, trust one another. It's really interesting. Back in Iran, they were asking me, why do you think Iranian women are not very much behind each other's back? And I said, well, most probably it's rivalry, because of the fact that for thousands of years, men were allowed to marry more than one woman. They were allowed to marry 4 women legally and have 99 concubines. Maybe that's why it is still in our DNA. But when I left Iran and started living elsewhere in the Western world, I noticed that no, it's nothing to do with our DNA, or it's all about it. The fact that camaraderie is a new thing for us. let's just take a look at the time we received our rights to vote, meaning that we established ourselves as human beings, as not necessarily the secondary citizen of our countries, but the citizen of our countries, and started voting. That's why it's all new to us, being together, having a club. For men, having a club is easy. They love their clubs and they don't let you in. But for women, forming a club takes a long time because it's hard for us to trust one another. It's whatever it is in our DNA, it's very new and we need to build it up. We need,
Joe,
yeah.
Joe, what do you think?
That's the question again.
The question is, what's the biggest challenge women are facing today?
Yeah, I mean, I think male supremacy, male violence. I think, you know, the fact that sexual violence is so prevalent and so acceptable almost. It's still, you know, even when you go to the courts and you try to get justice, usually justice is not on your side. I think when you think of intersectionality, I think it was in the mid 90s really, when we're our 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, not that long ago, that correct, women were, you know, got the right to vote, that civil rights was, you know, on the rise, and all of these issues were sort of all happening at the same time. And queer people, you know, were also criminalized. And I think that we don't talk enough about the intersectionality of all that. And no wonder we're all so traumatized and trying to keep up and make the world a better place. And we're just not used to coming together. And I think that, you know, we have an interesting challenge in the queer community, because in the queer community, we are everywhere. We are every race, we are every gender, we are every culture and expression and religion. And we try to come together in the queer community. And we often have, you know, big struggles as a result of these issues around other, you know, differences. And change is slow and it's hard. And I'm sad that I may not experience the ability to see change in my lifetime, but I'm committed to trying to be part of that change, you know?
Well, even any change is some change. And as we've all experienced, it's 3 steps forward and 2 steps back, right? So Shorey, you're going to read an excerpt from Joanne's memoir. Do you want to just quickly tell us why you chose this passage, or do you just want to go and read it?
Yes, I love this passage for the fact that this was my question for her, that how all this time she was holding to her secrets, and how did she go through this all? This little passage is where my question is hidden, and I have a feeling that she's already answering me in this passage, but still, I needed to ask her for real how she bore with all of this. It's chapter 5, and I held on to my secrets about my mother in feminist circles. I had to. No one talked about women who hurt women. I didn't want to take away from the larger conversations about sexism, racism, or male violence against women. But when I started to ask or mention the idea of women as perpetrators, I was chastised. It kept me out of the circle, unable to speak to it because the space was needed to talk about misogyny. I understood because I felt the same way, except I needed to be silent once again. Even though I wanted to fight the woman who screamed at me, and on a few occasions I did. It doesn't mean I hate women because they hurt me. I know what it's like to be hurt by men. I wanted to say, it's not my fault. It wasn't my fault that I carried my mother on my back. All the shame she heaped on my shoulders. I apologize for exposing it when I heard things like, "Oh, it's so rare." There aren't even any stats, or it's not the same. I wasn't comparing. And if it was rare, then I was rare, but just as real.
Wow. Thank you so much, Shorey. I wish you had read the entire book to me because that was beautiful. There's Joe with her book, All We Knew But Couldn't Say. And that is it for us. I want to thank everybody for joining us and to say a final good night. The executive director of Margaret's, Diane Walter, is here. So thank you all. Good night, everybody from us. Diane, over to you.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you're enjoying yourselves. Thank you, Shorey and Joanne, for your stories. You're truly phenomenal women. You're women who exemplify resilience. And Meg and Joanne, I want to let you know you deserve that statue that I gave you yesterday. You embody the values of the Margaret Trudeau Mental Health Advocacy Award. I hope you and Shorey continue to live your truth. At this juncture, I would like to thank our wonderful audience for spending their time with us tonight, and to the event planning committee for their tireless work. And last, but certainly not least, a special heartfelt gratitude to our generous sponsors who have made this night possible. We have Delaney Capital Management, Itexia, Marcella, Metro, Well and Good, Layuna, Local 183, DASD Contracting, Sabatec, and our contributing sponsors, Accurate Repairs, Alterna Savings, Beverage World, Hilditch Architect, Newton Israeli Stan, and T.H. Harrison Environmental. I'm going to be bold now and say next year, we will be celebrating Mad About Margaret's in person, as the COVID-19 infection rates appear to be heading in the right direction. We are reducing our numbers. So I hope to see you guys in the flesh next year, and we will have a smashing time. Good night, stay safe and well, and see you next year at Mad About Margaret's 2022, as we continue to advocate and work towards reducing the stigma of mental health histories and giving women what they deserve. Good night.
Hey, who's there still?
Well, I am, but